The Public Benefit Regulatory Authority, formerly the NGOs Coordination Board, has identified several non-governmental organizations operating without proper registration in Kenya and has today forwarded their names to the Directorate of Criminal Investigations for further scrutiny into their activities after widespread allegations of funding protests. Speaking in Nairobi, the authority chairperson Mwambu Mangoga alleged that the organizations are running unauthorized bank accounts and implementing projects that cannot be justified after receiving funds that they cannot account for. Here is more on the same.
Mimi nataka niulize watu wa Ford Foundation watuambie hiyo pesa wanatoa ifanye fujo ndio wapate faida gani?
Following the recent allegations made by President William Ruto on local organizations being funded to fund the recent nationwide protests, the Public Benefit Organization Regulatory Authority has forwarded names of 3 non-governmental organizations operating in Kenya and are also getting funding from Ford Foundation to the DCI for further investigations.
The authority has further forwarded to the DCI for the further investigations of the said organizations, PPOs that are currently in operation without probably obtaining the requisite registrations, and yet the PPO in question are receiving money or funding that they may not be able to account for. Maybe running accounts that have not been authorized and implementing projects that cannot be quantified or accounted for.
On 18th of July this year, the government of Kenya listed 16 NGOs in connection to the protests that wreaked havoc in the country in the last month. Through a letter addressed to Ford Foundation President Darren Walker, the Principal Secretary for Foreign Affairs Korir Sing'oei said some of the organizations funded by Ford Foundation have been at the center of the anti-government protests. According to Mr. Mabonga, who is the chairperson of the authority, organizations engaging in public benefit in Kenya are required to either obtain public benefit status as provided for under Section 7 or register with the authority under Section 10 and 11 of the PBOs Act. On the contrary, out of the 16 organizations mentioned by the PS, 13 are not registered under the Act.
Only 3, and this one you need to note it, only 3 organizations are registered under the PPO Act 2013, whereas the rest of the other listed organizations are registered by both the Registrar of Societies and Companies.
To their defense against the allegations, Ford Foundation denied funding the anti-government protests in Kenya and asked the Kenyan government to check their foundation's website for information about its grants to organizations in Kenya. Hilary Kabila, GBS News, Nairobi.